Hey, what's going on? It's Zobua here, and today I'm bringing you guys something different. So I showed you guys how to make a compact micro, wool farm. Well, this is a compact wool farm that has all 16 colors, and it auto sorts them into 16 different chests for you. I think it's a really cool farm. It doesn't take much to make. I'm gonna throw all the materials up on the board for you, but let me jump on a serious note real quick. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, feel free to leave me a comment. Any suggestions for farms or any videos in the future, leave me a comment. And if you're new to the channel, help me out. Hit that sub button, smack that like button. It really does go a long way. Alright, well, if you guys are ready, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do is build up several blocks. I built up 12 in this video, but you really only need to build up about 6. Once you get up to that point, you're actually going to build out a platform of dirt. This is just going to be kind of the base for where the sheep are going to eat at. So on top of these blocks, I'm going to put down a grass block. If obviously if you don't have silk touch, you can't get a grass block. You're actually going to have to build a bridge up to this from dirt and wait for the grass to slowly get up there. Another option would be to put anything below this on the farm underground. That works as well. So what we're doing here is you're actually going to build a 7x7 platform. And then you're going to make little cages. So it's going to be 3 tall. Kind of like this. And it's going to be a 3x3 section of glass, each one, with a hole in the center. This is actually where the sheep is going to live. Just in his one little square. So you need to make 8 of these on a 7x7 platform. As you finish up, you should have 8 of these cages with a hole in the center. You are going to want to poke a hole right in the center of all of this glass and all the dirt, because that's where your whole system is going to kind of tie together. So once you have these cages down, you can start setting up your collection system. What you're going to do for this is break out the spot next to each intersection where the sheep is going to sit and put an observer facing in so that it's viewing the block that is underneath where the sheep will sit. Then put a block behind it, some type of a build block, and you're going to want to put a dispenser. You do have to put these dispensers from the inside so that they face in. Once you have that one done, go ahead and just do it on all 8 of your spots. And then we'll add redstone and get this system working. Alright, now I've got everything set up. All you have to do is add 1 redstone dust to the top of each of these build blocks. This will make it so that every time that the block below the sheep is updated, when it eats the grass, it will auto dispense something. What we're going to end up doing is putting shears in here so that it will auto shear the sheep as soon as its wool grows back. Now let's work on the collection system. Alright, so you're going to come underneath 1 block to the side of the center and build down 3 build blocks, then 1 over. At this point you can put a hopper facing straight down on top of there. And then you're going to connect hoppers to the side. You want these hoppers to come over to the point that they are underneath each of the spots where the sheep will be. God, this is a pain. Now you need to make sure that the hoppers are all connected and that they all end up in the center together. So the easiest way to find where the sheep will be from underneath is they're going to be 1 block in from each of the observers. In my opinion, the best way to do it is kind of like an H pattern. I guess it's not an H, it would be an H with an extra line. Double-sided trident, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, basically where the 2 directions face in towards the center and then the other 6 stab into that. So you can go ahead and delete this at this point. You don't need it anymore. It was just for support to get started. Build on over 2 and then connect the last 2. So now anything that falls into any of these will be funneled into the center hopper. Alright, the next thing you're going to do is every spot that has a sheep above it, or will have a sheep above it, you put down a rail and then a minecart with hopper. You can then block these in so they never end up moving by accident if somebody bumps them or something, by putting a block on each side. It just kind of locks them in place, if that makes sense. For those of you that don't know, a minecart with hopper works a little bit different than a normal minecart. Anything that is on top of the block above that block, so sitting on top of the dirt, will be collected into this minecart and then will be passed through to the hopper below it. So it actually sucks through that block, which is really cool. Alright, so everything will be funneled into the center. The next step is going to be to get some sheep in here. So honestly, I've done this in survival. It's almost as much of a pain as trying to work with villagers. I'm in creative, so I'm just going to spawn a few in, but you need to get 8 sheep into here now. It doesn't matter what color they are, you just need to get 8 sheep. Go ahead and drop 1 in each of the prison cells. Now that the sheep are in there, you just pull out your dye and you dye each one a different color, and it'll give off that colored wool. So I'll start with these 8 colors. And now I just need to pull out a glass and seal these guys in so that nothing can get them. And not that they can jump 2 blocks, but let's just say so they can't get out. You now officially have a 8 different colored wool farm. However, it's not auto sorting, and who only wants 8 colors? You want all 16. So the way you're going to do this is you're actually going to build up your hopper right through the middle. And then from this point, you're going to build up a couple more blocks, and you're going to repeat the process directly on top of this one. That means you're going to add the other 8 colors. You're going to add the mine carts again, everything. The hoppers all going into that central hopper, and it will all be running into one big system. Before I move on to that second section, there is one thing that I almost forgot. You do need to add shears to the dispensers. So I'd recommend multiple shears. Hell, if you can afford it, do all 9 shears in each dispenser. But for starters, they do last a while. Just go ahead and add 1 shear to each dispenser. Now every time that the grass is eaten below the sheep, its wool grows back, and the observer will auto-detect it and send out a shear to shear the sheep. That will then be collected through the ground by the minecart hopper and sent through the hopper system into whatever chest, or in our case, sorting system that we have in mind. I'm going to skip ahead until I get that second row on, and then we'll move on to the sorting system. Alright, and here it is with the second stack up there. It's hard to tell, but I do have all 16 colors. They're just fully sheared right now, and they're connected. As you can see, I did add torches to this build. The reason I actually added torches is so that it works at night. I'm not worried about mobs because mobs can't spawn on glass, but grass won't spread at less than light level 9. So for the sorting system, you come right underneath the center and you'll move 1 step off to the side. At that point, you're going to look down and put 2 build blocks up, delete the bottom one, then put 1 next to that, 1 under it, 1 next to the top one, and 1 over and down one, so it looks something like this. Now if you come next to this block right here, you should be able to look up and it should be the dead center. At this point, you just need to make the same thing 16 times right next to each other, so add 15 more of them. Now that you've got it added 16 times except for this last block, we're going to do one thing before we fill in these last blocks. We're going to get the basics of our sorting system going. So the first thing to do is pull out your redstone torches and put 1 against each one of these walls right here. You do need to make sure that they're against the wall and not on the floor, otherwise it will not work. The next thing you're going to need to do is pull out your redstone repeater, and you're actually going to face it towards the redstone torch. Put down 1 of these with just regular normal ticks, no changes in each one of these spots. At this point, you can take out your build blocks again and you can fill in this last spot. The only reason that I do that first is because it would be pretty dang tough to get to that spot if you if that block was there. So the next step is actually going to be to put down some comparators, and of course they don't want to lay down. Jesus. Anyway, put down some comparators. Again, this is stock, nothing has changed, and they're going to be facing away from the torch. Then you just put down your redstone dust on all 3 of these blocks, all the way down for all 16. One of the nice things about this system is you can actually use it to sort basically anything. I actually use it in one of my home Minecraft worlds to sort. Me and my friends have put together a mega sorter that sorts probably 3/4 of the items in the game. It's fantastic. Once you're done with that, you're actually going to take your build blocks out and you're going to put down a couple blocks with a 1 block gap away from the torch. Now you could actually put double chests here if you wanted extra storage, but I figured 1 double chest per color of wool is more than enough. So if you're going to set up like this, you put down your blocks and then you put a double chest on each one of these. So you have your full 16. This is actually where everything is going to be collected. Make sure that they are double chests and not 2 single chests because you were crouched down or something next to each other. Obviously a double chest is a double chest. So the next step is going to be to start adding our hoppers. So the first hoppers that we're going to add are just going to be stabbed into the back of these chests right here. Remember, you do have to press sneak in order to stab into the back of a chest, otherwise it'll just open up the chest. So just make sure each one is angled into the chest and not angled sideways into another hopper or angled down into the dirt. Otherwise that color will not actually work and it may break your whole system. At this point, you need to put one sideways into each one of these comparators. As you can see, they are actually going sideways into it. The way you do this is you sneak again. I believe the default key is shift. And then you just click the side of the comparator. And it should be able to stab right in nice and easily. What this does is it actually will try to run the signal through the comparator. So your whole sorting system will actually stop things that aren't supposed to be in there from getting in. Now you come to the end that is farthest away from your farm and you stab one down and then just start stabbing them into the side like this. Make sure you come all the way down all 16 blocks. Once you've gotten to the end, you should be directly underneath the center of your farm. And what you can do now is you can actually just build all the way up. I'd recommend not connecting yet because in this video I actually did connect it and it created a lot of work of sorting later. So I'd leave a 1 block gap for now until you have everything set up. Next up, go ahead and place down an anvil and take a block that's not going to be in here. I like to use cobblestone. Take a stack and just rename it filler. You can name it anything you want, but filler it's something I use every time. At this point you can take your filler blocks and see, this is the problem I was talking about because I had already connected it. It's kind of gunking up my system, so unfortunately I have to pull everything out. Again, this is my recommendation. Do not build all the way up and connect it beforehand. Otherwise it's just a pain. You have to deal with all these wools that are getting in your way. So what you do is once it's blank, the hopper that is facing into the comparator, you're actually going to put down 1 filler block in each of the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th slots. What this will do is, because nothing flowing through will be named filler like that, none of it will ever show up, and you can actually force this to only filter 1 item. So go ahead and do this in all of your spots, and then we'll move on to the next step. Alright, the last step is actually just going to be to come to each one and decide what color you want in that section. Throw 11, 10, whatever, however many wool you have in there, and the system will actually automatically start sorting. Any of that colored wool that flows through there, through the hoppers above it, will actually drop into that spot until it hits 41 wool. Once it's above 41, they will start dropping through to the hoppers below them and being loaded into the chest. So it'll take a little bit to get up to 41 of each color, and I mean, that'll just take time to kind of set up your farm. But at this point, once you have them all in, you can go ahead and grab a hopper and you can reconnect it if you disconnect it or haven't connected it yet, and it will connect the rest of your system. Now you just have to wait, like I said, until it hits 41. Once it hits 41, your stuff will start dropping into the chests. As you can see, it is fully set up. It collected its 41, and then after that point, it actually kicked them down to the bottom. Any wool that flows through these sideways hoppers will actually be collected in the correct color at this point. This sorting system shouldn't fail. I don't think I've ever had it fail. The only thing that really screws it up is Enderman moving blocks around. So as you can see, wool has already started to dump into its correct color. I put up item frames with wool just so I know what color it is for quick access. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, let me know. Leave me a comment, smack that like button. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to hit that red sub button down below. It really does help me out. It makes me want to make more videos, makes me excited about this. Anyway, till next time, this is Obua, and I'm out.